Hi everyone, it's Ayush here and welcome back to another video, and in today's video we are going to design the front end part of our chat application by using HTML and CSS. So without wasting any time, let us dive into the video. In the previous video, I've just discussed about how we can just create the server at the port 8000 and how can we just serve the chat application on that port. So for now, if I just run the application by using npm start, what it will do is it will simply open the website at the URL http //localhost 8000. Now, and here's the website. You can see that it is almost clear because we haven't applied any kind of CSS or HTML to this. So right now it's clear, but what I want to show you is we have just successfully executed the website on the port 8000. Now, in today's video, we are going to create the home page of the website through which the user can do navigation to other pages. So let's go to the public folder and let's open the index.html file. Now, the idea for this application is we are going to create a container. So we are going to create a div with a class of container, and inside this container, what I'm going to do is I'm going to write here dot model, means after it creates a container, means a div element with a class of container, it will go inside that container and it will create another div element with a class of model. Now, if you just press enter, you can see that it uses emit abbreviation in VS Code. That's a very fascinating feature. It simply uses 2 to 3 keywords to just do a lot of work. Now, after you just create the model, inside this model, it's not a kind of pop-up model that will just simply pop. It will just simply open whenever you click on a button. No, it's not like that. It's simply like it will be centered on the screen for the entire web page, right? Inside this model, what I'm going to do is I'm going to simply write a button. We are going to create a button, and the button is going to have a class of btn, and this button is going to contain the text create, let's say create a new room. Now, if I just save this code and if I just return back to the website, reload it, now you can see here's a button. But there is a problem. The problem first is it's not looking good, and the second is you can see that we're having a button. It is having some spacing from the top and some spacing from the left. There's something what you call default spacing in HTML and CSS. Now, to avoid this default spacing, what you can do is you can go to the style.css and you can write here body in the body element, because this default spacing is only given by the body element. So we'll say here in the body padding of the 0, and we'll set the margin to 0. Now, if I just save this thing and go back to the website, you can see now there is a spacing. If I reload, you can see that there is no spacings. Now, what I will do is I will go to the CSS and I'll write here container. In the container, what I will do is the container is going to cover the entire screen in the matter of the width as well as in the matter of height. So we'll say width 100 VW, and then we are going to have our height of 100 dvh. Now, one basic difference between the dvh and the vh is that the dvh is a quite responsive in comparison with the vh. What happens that when you open your website in phones or tablets, then what it will do is it will automatically cover the entire screen. Whereas if you use VH, it may not do it in some cases, but if you use DVH, in every case, what will happen that if you open your mobile, if you open your website in mobile phones, tablets, or any other device, then it will simply automatically calculate and cover up the entire screen in the respect of height. Now, the next thing is we are going to apply a flex display to this container. So we'll say that align item center and justify content center to center up the model which is created inside this container at the center of the screen. Now what I will do is I will simply go inside the model, and the model, because in default there is no width and height given to the model, and in default the normal width and height of the model is going to be the width and height of the button inside it, right? So let's say in the model, let's say we give the width to be 50%, means it will take the 50% width of the parent element and it will apply it to the children. After that, height of 50% means it will simply take 50% height of the 100 dvh and it will apply it to the model container. Now, after that, these both things are done, means the sizing is done. We can just say here background color red so that we can detect where is the model right now on the screen. Let's save this thing. Okay, let's get back to the project. If I just reload, you can see here is the model. Now, Okay, let's increase the height a little bit. Let's say 60%. Okay, or let's say 70%. It may be fine. Yeah, now it's fine. Now what I will do is I will simply center this button, create a new room also in the center of the screen. So let's say display flex. Flex direction means the way in which the items are going to be arranged on the screen. So we'll say that just align the items in the column, in a column wise, right? You can even use column reverse in some cases, but basically you can use column to do it in a very straightforward way. After that, we'll say align item center, and then finally the justify content center to just center up all your items in the screen. Let's save this thing. Now you can see here's the create a new room button. Now the create a new room button is simply taking up the whole width of its parent element. So we can just style it by using the .btn class that we applied to the button, and we can just say width to be 50% only, means 50% of not this container of its parent, means the model, means let's say we take the 50% of the width 100 VW, let's say it's going to be 50 VW. Now, when we take 50% of the 50 VW, it means the half of it, or you can say 25 VW. So basically, we are saying that just calculate the width of the button in respect to its parent, and then just assign that width to the element. Similarly, we're going to say the height. Okay, let's say the height to be, let's say 25 pixels. Okay, let's save this thing and let's get back to the project. Now you can see here is the button, but you can see that it is not getting centered aligned on the screen, right? So let's get back to the code and let's see what's the issue. So you can see model, we're creating a button dot ptn, display flex direction column, align item center, justify content center. Okay, everything is fine. Okay, the issue is that we are using align content. It's not align content, it's align item center. Now if I just save this and reload it, now you can see the button is centered on in the model. Okay, let's design this model first, even before starting with the button, or even let's start with the container. So what will I do is I will simply, now what have I done is I have simply downloaded one image from internet like pg.jpg. That's simply the image of a mountain, and we are going to apply this image to the container. So let's get back to the style.css and let's say here background to be a URL, and this URL is going to be dot slash images slash the bg.jpg. Now if I just save this code here and if I just go back to the website, reload it, now you can see, yeah, here is the mountain photo, but there is one issue that it is not covering the entire screen. Now if you go back to the photo, you can see that there are some there is a house also, and there are some other parts of the image as well that are hidden at this place, right? So what can I do is I can simply go back to the css code, and where I'm assigning this background, I can say here background size. So the size of the background is going to be cover. What do this thing do? This thing simply takes the image and it sets the size of the image so that it covers the entire screen and no part of the image will be hidden in that case. Let's save this thing and let's go back to the website. Let's reload it. Now you can see the entire image is there on your screen, right? And now's the turn of the model, right? So now to style this model, what I will do is I will simply apply one of the most famous one-liners in CSS that will just simply make it more beautiful. So instead of this background color red, what I will do is I will simply apply a new color property that we used to say like RGBA, that is simply going to accept the red value, green value, blue value, as well as the alpha value. What is alpha value? You will see that. So in place of the red value, let's apply 0. In the green value as well 0, and in the place of this blue value I'll simply apply 0. Now what it will do, it will simply produce a black color, right? Whenever the RGBA are 0 0 and 0 respectively, it always produces black color. Now if I just save it for now, let's say we don't apply this alpha and we just Yeah, let's save this thing and let's get back to the code. Now you can see it's giving us a very it's not looking good, right? Because the background color is totally black. So what I will do is, to make it more beautiful, I will simply apply the alpha to be zero point 0.5, only zero point 0.5, not even 1, just zero point 0.5. Let's save this thing. And let me just go back to the website, reload it. Now you can see it's like it's amazing. You can see that it's giving a kind of appearance to the background, right? And it's giving us like a black color as a finishing. Now, to make it more beautiful, what we can do is we can apply border radiuses to this container. Let's go back to the code and let's say border radius 20 pixels. So this 20 pixel border radius is going to simply, yeah, it gives it a good look. So you can see that it has just applied a border radius to each of the corner of this container. Now we are going to style this button. So for styling this button, what I will do is I will simply go here in the button. I will say, let's say width is 50%, height is 25 pixel. It's not fine. Let's say the width should be, yeah, width is fine. Let's say 50 pixel height. Let's save this thing. Let's go back. So you can see here's a 50 pixel height. Now let's increase the font size here. Let's say 25 pixel font size. Now you can see here's the font. So you can see I've just increased it to 25 pixels. And now I'll say here background none. First of all, I will just simply remove all the default stylings applied to this button by using none keyword. So background none, outline none, border none, and now I will apply whatever I want. So let's say our background color, let's say the background color to be kind of solid blue color. Let's say in the blue, we'll apply a dark blue color here, and we'll say border radius 20 pixels so that every corner is going to be circled. And let's save this thing. Let's go back. Now you can see something like this. It's giving. Let's say the color to be white. So when I say color white, it simply transform the color of the text inside the button to white. Let's save this code. Let's go back. Now you can see here is the color. But let's make it more beautiful. Let's say the border. So let's apply the borders 5 pixels solid white. I think it's more. We'll decrease it in future. Let's see this. Now, yeah, you can see it's a lot. Let's decrease it to 2 pixels. Yeah, now it's fine. Let's increase the size a little bit, right? It's looking so small. So let's say 60% width and let's say this to be 60 pixels, something like this. Or let's increase it one more time. Let's say 70%, 70%, and 70 pixels. Yeah. Now let's apply alpha to this one as well. Let's see what is going to happen. So what I will do is by applying alpha, I'll say zero point 0.5 again. And yeah, it's looking fine. Yeah, it's looking fine. So we'll just apply a kind of animation on this, like whenever somebody hovers on this, right? So we'll say here transition. Let's say the transition to be 1 second, 1 second transition for all of the different properties. And we'll say here is in out. Now, after that's done, let's say here dot btn. Whenever somebody is going to hover on this, we are going to say here the background color to be, let's copy this RGBA value and we are going to remove the alpha. Let's go back. Let's remove this alpha here. And instead of this RGBA, we are going to simply apply the RGB only. Let's save this. Now, if I hover on this, yeah, it's looking so cool, right? It's looking so cool. Now, let's say here cursor pointer because we want a feeling of a button, right? Let's say cursor pointer. Let's save this. Let's go back. Now you can see we are getting a pointer at, you can see the cursor is changing to pointer, right? Something like this. Let's decrease this transition time, like it's like 1 second. So let's say 0.5 second, or you can say 500 milliseconds. Let's reload it. Yeah, it's okay, quite fast now. So I hope you have just understood whatever I have just told up in this video, that how you can use HTML and CSS to create a simple home page for your application other than the chat application. So yeah, that's all for today's video. Meet in the next video. Till then, see you.